I'm live out here in these streets. Man, what's happening, folks? What's happening? I feel like it's been a minute. I need to start getting back to doing this regularly. Please forgive me as I am kind of renegade out here in these streets because my wife is in the shower. I got kids outside playing in the front joint. I got my daughter back here doing whatever she's doing. So it's a whole thing. Man, all right. Whew. Many things have been transpiring around these solar streets, and I wanted to update you guys. I feel like first and foremost, um, everything has been going well with the system. What's up, sleeper? Everything has been going really well with my solar system. I just got a device, the Oupes Mega 2. That what's up, Lee? Good to see you guys, man. Familiar names. Nathan, what's happening? Y'all let me know how y'all solar system is doing. How y'all doing out here in these solar streets? Have you settled into like a good equilibrium, or is your system like constantly changing and shifting? I know winter has been it has sucked. It was so bad to the point where when I got some sunny days, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, "What is this? What is this glorious thing that God has blessed us with on this wonderful day?" I was like, I was kind of thrown off. Also, because what's up, Jay? Man, all the regulars. It's good to see you guys. Is my lens clean? I think it's fine. So, what happened to me? I have been dealing with winter sun. Let's talk about that a little bit. I've been dealing with winter sun. Winter sun has sucked. I feel like it hasn't been as bad as like the last winter, but it was comparable. And winter's not even over really yet. But the climate, I think things are different. I feel like we all can kind of notice that. You know, politics aside, I think something different is going on with the climate. That's for sure. But we haven't had a lot of snowy days. We got snow like once or twice. We got like a good snow one time, and then a day or so later, the sun was out, snow was melting, temperatures were like crazy weird. It was like 50 in February. February is like one of our coldest months, typically in Western PA. So I had a situation where we were traveling. We went back. I'm from New Orleans, so we went back home to visit my family, and I didn't have a chance to set up things at home as well as I wanted to. So what I ended up having was the EcoFlow was running my internet, which was plugged into the wall. So I was just using it as a UPS to make sure that the internet would stay running. I had some cameras. I just had to plug them into the wall because no power station was going to run them for the amount of days I was going to be gone. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I did split up some power stations. Like the Oops has the two MPPTs in it, so I took one, and I had one 200-watt panel. Adele, come on, man, you being wild aggressive right now. Take it easy. So I unplugged that one because I typically have two 200-watt arrays going into the Oops. They're just like 12-volt panels. They really can't be used for anything. I shouldn't say that. They're not super useful for anything else. And the Oops is actually perfect in that situation. Whereas like I used to have two power stations by my garage door. I just put the Oops there, and then I had both of the solar arrays going into that. But because I was going to be traveling, I took the Oops and the Loom Pal, and I basically allowed them to use those two arrays. Yes? Upstairs? I don't know what you're saying, Mama. Jacket and shoes? You're gonna have to wait for mommy to help with that. I can't help with that right now. I know, I know. I'm sorry. Go see if mommy's done. She's upstairs. She might not be. Uh, what's up, Shaban? Al smoking tea was good. Um, So I split it into two power stations. I was like, well, I was going for like 10 days. So I was, those power stations were going to get full, but I made sure that a couple of them got full. I actually set up one power station to power dump into this power station that I've had for a very long time that I still need to do a video on, the Go Port, Go For It. I don't know. I had the All Powers R600, the beige one. Going into that joint has a 60-volt input limit. It basically charged that up to full. That's like about 1200 watt hours. The Oupes is about 1200 watt hours. It might be 15, but I think it's about 12 with an 1800 watt inverter. The GoPort, I talked about that. The Loom Pal is about 1000 watt hours, so I got that. My All Powers R1500 ended up getting full. My Yalanis joint, which is about 1500 watt hours, ended up getting full. The Vito Man, which is about 1500 watt hours, ended up getting full as well. So I wasn't here to take advantage of that power. And when we was in the Inno, my wife got sick, and then towards like coming home, I got sick, and I feel like it was the flu. So I say all that to say, when I got back home, I was kind of out of it, and I couldn't really adjust and take advantage. My wife said while I was down, it was sunny days and stuff like that, so I missed out on some sunny days. It took me a while to get back in the solar ebb and flow of things, also to get my appetite back. So when I finally got back into the swing of things, I was really powering my house off of my AC male to male cables, which are commonly known as suicide cables. I have a whole live stream about that. Actually, the video of me not first using them, but first using them on both sides of my panel is in the description. It's an unlisted video. I'm going to do another video on it, but it's going to be more like of using the cords instead of the process of me kind of like not learning, but taking all my precautions, learning which side of my panel. Like that whole process was a journey. We did a premiere on it, but the unlisted version, if you haven't seen it, is down in the description of this video. So when I got back into the swing of things, I was I had all of this surplus of power to like use and deal with, which was really cool. So it took me a while to kind of get back into the groove of how much power do I actually have and can generate throughout the day, and then how much power is just leftovers from these 10 days I wasn't around to basically take advantage of this power. And also, for like, is my focus good? That's a little better. That's a little better. Also, me and my wife was kind of beefing. So what was happening is typically in our situation, we had all four of our kids in one room when they were younger. Now the oldest has kind of split off into a different room. So now it's three kids, but now we have to heat three rooms at night. What's up, subject to change? I haven't read any of the comments. My bad. I just see the names and I'm shouting you guys out. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you, sir. So now me and my wife was beefing. So she was downstairs in the living room crashing there. So that's one space heater. My kids' room, another space heater. Me, another space heater. And then my oldest, he was in the room. So that was four space heaters running. And I wasn't using the space heater all that much. My kids use a radiator heater, which doesn't run. We don't run any of the heaters really on high. So they're using about 700 watts. Y'all, I have to show you how much power I used during that period. It was bananas. And I'm going to show you that today. It was a lot of power for me. Let me just say that some of y'all use a lot of power. We don't use a lot of power. We use about 20 kilowatt hours a day, and that's without solar. With solar popping, I've gotten it as low as like 5 or 4 kilowatts. Not every day, but when I really started cranking, that's how low I would get it. So 20, 18 on a regular, 7 to 9 on a normal solar day. But let's just get acquainted because it was bananas. Let me close this. We are here. Let's get the joint set up so we could get some actual factuals. Now my power is let's just round it up to say it's like 20 cents a kilowatt at this point because they split up supply and delivery. And man, it hurt. It hurt. I'm telling you, it hurt very much. Let's see. Let's share. Oh, I don't want to do that. Present. Share screen. Saya. Mommy's in the bathroom. Okay, let's do window. Boom. Let's see. Share. Present. Add. Let's move me like that. So this is just cost you're looking at right now. You can see how it's normal. This is actually not normal. This is a very good solar day. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can see how it's $1 here, 230, 226. That's actually a really good day. 275. My bill runs about $100 in a normal sense. And the bill is going to be about that this month because of the power that we use. So $4. Here we go. 320, 416. That was probably some nice and sunny days. I don't know. Or maybe they were warmer days looking at the temperature. Yeah, they may have been warmer days. 345, 345, $5.22 a day. That's high for me. This is very high. I feel like I live in around the $3 range. Let's look at the usage. Y'all see the max up here? It says 32 kilowatt hours. That is bananas. Look at how much power we use. 27, 18, 22. And actually, this is not the worst of it. I think if I go back, look at that. 42 kilowatt hours. Holy moly. Okay, so 42, 36, 43, 36. This is right when we had bounced back. Because you see all of this right here? This is when I was gone. 12. This is right before we left. 26. So we got 12. And we got about 10 kilowatt base load. Actually, let's look at this base load. You can see that if I'm not around and things are running, it's using about 350 watt hours with everything running. I had to plug my 2 deep freezers into the wall so that they could be running. So that's where this extra 200 watt hours is coming from. Because usually if nothing else is going on in the house, then we baseline it about a 182, a 200. So because those 2 deep freezers were a deep freezer and a chest freezer. Oh, I didn't tell Set Tight I was going live. Let me ping him real quick. You may want to come and hang out. So let's see here. We went to the day view. Let's go back to the bill view. So this is when we came home and the heat just started crushing, man. 42 kilowatts, 36, 43, 36, 32. It hurt, man. My bill is going to be a little bit high, but the good thing is it's not going to be outstanding. We're not going to hit like a $200 bill or anything like that, like my NO folks will encounter during these hot months. But it's higher than what I'm used to. So now what I've been looking at is I've been using my what's up, T Wayne? I've been using my male to male cables more and more because I actually just got maybe 3 days ago. Actually, I was using it more and more, period. I would use it with my AC 200p and my All Powers R1500 a lot, as much as I could. And this is why I need a transfer switch. But before we get to that, I've been using it, and the main thing that causes me to come off of solar is my wife needing to cook, and she cooks about 2 times a day. The kids eat a couple times a day. They start off with cereal, and then we'll typically have like their next meal will be some kind of cooked breakfast, or we're going right into like a lunchtime kind of thing. So she'll just be like, "Hey, babe, I need the stove," and then I'll go and what I do is I'll use my little power switches that I have. I turn the power switches off, and then I unplug the extension cables from the power station, and then I go and I unplug the male to male cables from my outlets, and then I disconnect my male to male cables from the AC extension power switch, because I have one of them that has a switch built into it. If you guys have seen any of those live streams or watched the video, then you know what I'm talking about. It's a little short extension cord that has an on off switch in the middle. So this is where we arrived at this type of usage that we're seeing right here. And you can see as I roll into it, how it's marking from 12 to 11, how much usage that I have. And then at a certain point, you're going to start to see some off hours where there's no usage being registered. And that's when I'm running my whole house off of power stations. So we got 170, 900. Is that 170? Yeah, it's 170. And then you see that spike. That's pretty much my wife cooking. So 2.2 kilowatt hours, 840 watt hours, 180, and then I go back offline. You can see I was offline the whole night. Came online to 60 watts, 600, 190. So you can see that baseline I was telling you about is about 200. That's kind of where we sit at, which is fantastic because when I have enough power coming in, I could pretty much cover my whole house. We don't use a lot of power. We have like, our heating situation is one where we have a furnace, we have gas heat, we also have a gas dryer. I have a video coming on running my gas dryer from solar. It's going to be coming out soonish. I'm trying to get caught up on a lot of these videos that I have in the backlog. And my house heat only uses like 550 watts to maintain it. Now, its startup is probably a little higher. In a situation like that brings me great comfort. If gas is still working in a terrible storm situation, I could actually get by with heating my home in some capacity if at some point the sun comes out. But even if the sun doesn't come out, if I'm prepared properly, I have a good amount of watt hour capacity around this house. The AC 200P has 2000 watt hours. We're just going to go with the round numbers instead of the real one. That's at least 3 to 4 hours, 3.5 hours right there. I got a bunch of 2 kilowatt. I don't have a bunch of. I have a bunch of like 1.5-ish, 1.2 kilowatt joints. So I got a good like 10 kilowatts. I actually got like 5 kilowatt hours in just batteries. So I'm doing okay if I ever hit a situation where we just had to heat our home. Because then you don't have to worry about anything else. Fridge doesn't use much power. It typically is maybe about 170, 150 of. I'm gonna actually test that one day. I'm gonna turn everything off except for the fridge and see what my fridge uses, if I can manage that, because it doesn't use much. All right, so we keep going. We got February 6th. Then the next day, you can see I don't use more than 1.6 kilowatt hours at any given time during the hour, right at 1 kilowatt hour. And then I go offline for the rest of the evening. And then offline for the rest of the morning. I actually last through the night. What do y'all need? Y'all need anything? Oh, okay, cool. I'm just checking, making sure y'all good. Oh, and that's the end. So February 8th, Thursday. My bill is like 2 days behind. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. It used to be actually 1 day behind on a general view, but they changed that too. Like bombs. All right, let me see what y'all snapping and trapping about. Let's see. Yeah, long time, man. Long time. The Mega 2 is good to make large. Large what? Got 8 days of rain to come, no sun. Ooh, that sucks. I didn't buy the EcoFlow River 2. Not much sun around here this year. Yeah, it's been a struggle. Siobhan. All right. Here in Jamaica with my Oupes Mega 3, courtesy of Big Bro, trying to charge up for the night. That's dope. Great info from you as usual. I appreciate that. Hey, I just got a notice that you were live. Seems like notifications just haven't been coming through properly, but I'm glad to see it did this time. Yeah, I tried to give as much time as possible to put the live stream out. I think I did like 5 hours. I wanted to give everybody a chance to see it, as many people as possible. I didn't necessarily notify anybody, but I tried to give as much time as possible. I would have notified people if I could. There's a couple of people I talk with on Telegram or text message or Instagram DMs. So if you guys ever want to message me, I'm on those platforms, and I prefer being messaged over being emailed because it's easy for me to respond through a messaging app, and then we can exchange right then and there instead of like you send an email, I send a reply, I'm waiting for your reply, so on and so forth. It's an interesting thing. But message me. Greetings. T Wayne just passed it through a catch. I dig it. I appreciate it. Appreciate the blessings too. Hey, 2%. MJ, what's happening? Good to see you. Delgado, what's happening? Just out of curiosity, have you gotten any bifacial panels? Not yet. There was actually a bifacial panel on sale, kind of local to me. It was like an hour away. I was debating on it. It was like a 500. And with the bifacial, you could get as much as close to 700. And what I was saying is if I had the money, I would consider buying one if they were still available when I got the money. And I don't think they were available. So no bifacials yet. The biggest thing that I like about bifacials is that you can pretty much get the rated panel power. That's all I really want from bifacials. If they produce more than that, then fantastic. But if I could get a 200-watt panel that produces 200 watts, I feel like wouldn't the world be a better place if that was the case? If you didn't have to wait for hope for standard test conditions, that would be fantastic. Fantastic. All right, a large system. Let me see, you made a comment up here. The Mega 2 is good to make a large system. The Mega 2, I was excited. I was glad they sent it to me. I actually did an unboxing video. Wayne Boucher. Boucher. He asked me to do an unboxing video, and I did that. I don't particularly like unboxing videos. Actually, let's talk about that for a second. If you guys can, at some point, go and watch that unboxing video and comment under whether or not you think I should make unboxing videos. The reason why I don't like unboxing videos is because they add no value, but I actually enjoyed watching mine. I enjoy watching my videos, but I enjoyed watching the unboxing video. I watched it a few times. It was quite enjoyable because it wasn't just me unboxing. It was me talking about the stuff, the implications of the stuff, kind of like what my channel is about, the implications of the accessories or lack of accessories. But I enjoyed it. Y'all let me know. I'm counting on y'all. I almost did a poll a few days ago. I just didn't get a chance to. I may still do it, but YouTube, the community tab, doesn't get a whole lot of reach, especially when you share a video. Now, if like Jason Noy shared my video and then I shared like his video, I think if you cross share a thing, it does this like velocity stuff, which is interesting. But you sharing a video on your own doesn't get much play. Heard some positive things about the bifacial panels and bifacial vertical panels regarding higher voltage output due to lower heat core. It sounds like you've been watching that Undecided with Matt Farrell video. I watched it too. Me and Setite is more of the research arm of our friendship. He's like really into data and stuff like that. So he's been looking into bifacials and vertical installations over the last like 12 months or so, 6 to 12 months, 6 to 8 months. Is something that is really interesting to him. Um, I just want bifacials to be able to get the amount of power that those panels are rated for. But I wanted to, I almost bought that panel because it would have been a single panel that could, I think what the dude was probably selling it. What was he selling it for? He may have been trying to sell them for like $200. It was something I wasn't really like moved by, but I was gonna try and see if, when it was available, if I had the money, if I could kind of get a deal on a panel. He only wanted to do a deal on like multiples of like 4 or 5. If you bought, not multiples, if you bought like 4 or 5. But but the thing the idea that I liked about the bifacial was, if set up in a way that is conducive to allowing light to pass through and bounce back, which I don't have an ideal situation. But even with the panel being as big as it was a single panel that he was saying would produce close to 700 watts. He had one of those little plug into the panel, and the device itself tells you, it tracks the maximum power point, and then it shows you how much the panel is getting. I would like to get one of those, but I just have not been in a space to spend $100 on one. So I haven't. But it would have been able to kind of like be a single panel for the AC 200p, which was appealing. Because right now I have 5 panels that lay flat that never get moved. So if I had a single panel, I like moving panels around and get power, then I could have did that. So it's interesting. I don't know. What are you gonna do? But yeah, Matt Farrell, Undecided with Matt Farrell, had a video about vertical panels and something about how them being vertical allows for more airflow, which allows them to run cooler, which increases voltage and allows you to get more power over I guess, the full scope of the day. I, I'm, I guess I'm so much of a like modular guy. I would still, if I was going to mount panels, I would mount panels in such a way that I could point them where I needed to point them at all times. That's what I would do. But I ain't gonna build nothing at any point. So it's like a pipe dream for me to even say that. I would never do it. Now, with my situation where I've been running off grid for a while, I wonder if, because I always have to put my house back on grid, but it's fantastic to be able to last throughout the night. Now, I must say, I'm not a big fan of expansion batteries, but running a load throughout the night, an expansion battery or 2 or 3 would be nice. Because what I have to do now is I have to make sure that I charge up these devices as full as possible from other devices. And then sometimes I may have to get up throughout the night to like put power onto something else. And I don't necessarily always have to do that. I'm still kind of we've been having a whole lot of sun lately in the last few days. So I'm still trying to find my groove. And then the Oupes Mega 2 just entered the picture. And so I did some things with that allowed me to have like a more consolidated solar setup. There's going to be videos coming about that soon. It could take in 2100 watts of solar. It's fantastic. So I've been working on that to kind of consolidate that stuff together. My solar system is really kind of changing a bit to where I have to consider, because right now in my front yard, I have a 200 watt and I have a 300 watt. And what I plan on doing in the back is consolidating a lot of panels together. So it makes me wonder if I need to bring that 300 in the back, but I don't know if I could come to terms with only having one panel in my front yard. I don't know. We're going to have to see what the summer holds, because those panels, the 200 watt has always been out there. It's been a staple. And the idea was to have the 300 watt be out there. Like I had a video talking to my wife about it and all that jazz. I don't think it got a whole lot of views, but the people who saw it saw it. You know what I mean? So I really have to consider what I'm going to do, because I thought about doing 200s again, where I have a 200 watt all powers flex panel, which would actually be cool, because then I could have a rigid panel out there, maybe a 300 that's just a staple. And then a 200 watt flex panel could be the one that is kind of like optional. So if my wife and the kids needed to do something in the yard, it would be easy for me to just go out there and grab it and kind of toss it to the side and get it out of the way. Things to think about. I also have my upstairs solar that is coming in through that window going into the fiery, and that's probably going to change too. So I'm going to end up with having a lot of power going into the Oupes Mega, and a lot of other things are just not going to have power coming into them, which is going to be a change of pace. Like that in some ways that may render my pet grind kind of like not useless, but as an optional thing. So things to think about. I also emailed Blue Eddy to see if they would send me an AC 180, and they kind of agreed to it, but they're on holiday. So I don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition or not. We'll see. I don't count this stuff until my until you give me a shipping number or it's at my door. So if that don't happen, I don't count on it. Also, Bouge RV emailed me to see if I would do a video for their little Juice Go. I don't think they have a web page up for it first, but it's a super small power station that can charge via USB-C via 100 watt. I don't know if it's bi-directional. I'm sure it is. It can charge from solar at 100 watts. It's about a 250 watt hour capacity battery, but the battery is pretty small. Let me see if I can find something that is relevant to this. Stop sharing. Minimize. New drink. Oh man, it sucked being sick. And NOLA. We didn't really get, so the plan when we went down there was to be able to like kind of hang out with the family for a bit and not rent a car immediately because we actually flew down. This I'm gonna have to put the video out on the family channel once I start doing that again because we've been recording stuff but just not editing it. Let's see. Oh, they actually no, it's a Juice Go coupon. What in the world? Let's share. Let's do screen this time. We'll make things easier. So the thing that I like, oh, it's an early bird. The thing that I like most about this little device, I hope they send it to me because I'm really intrigued by it, is the size and the form factor. A lot of people go out for day trips, they go out on walks and hikes, and they want something that they could just put in their bag with maybe like a little folding panel. And I think something like this is going to be really ideal. Like, check out how small that is. I think that that's pretty cool. I'm kind of looking forward to checking that out. I'm looking forward to it. I also want to check out the Elicanta dip, but they had like a small one that has been like about $200. I think I may have followed up with them, but they haven't emailed me. Man, I gotta give you some updates on these power stations, and I need to. It's getting to the point. It has been to the point where I need to make update videos, but I don't know if I should make separate videos or if I'm just gonna. I think I'm just gonna make one video to give a few updates on the devices. That's the Duran, the Alcatel, which is very disappointing, and the Ace Volt, because I feel like out of the three of those, Alcatel is the one company that is more of a staple in the power station community. So Duran, I've had issues with that. One, the MPPT is just slower and it doesn't charge as much as the other devices. There's a video that I have that I need to edit about that. I need to get to it. I don't know where it is in my flow because I like to edit things linear. Um, and what happened now is it stopped charging completely. If I put it on the charge, it takes in no more than 40 watts. And I put it on a charge multiple times, multiple scenarios, multiple ways. Solar doesn't charge it. The wall doesn't charge it. Grid power doesn't charge it. Power station power doesn't charge it at anything more than 40 watts. And I had it on there for like 2 hours. And that was just one test. I've had it on there for much longer before, but I wasn't timing it. So 2 hours, 40 watts is the max that it would get. So it really it's not charging anymore. So I have the email typed up. It's a draft, and I want to add the videos to it because I know they're gonna ask. At least I assume they're gonna ask. The Ace Volt, I emailed them and shipped the device off to them. Never heard anything back from them. Nothing. I could tell the same situation kind of happened. They just ghosted me in the support. What I'm gonna do with them is I'm gonna go and email them again from my Gmail, just because Gmail is more known than what I have over at my on my domain. So I'm gonna try them again and kind of see how that works out. But I'm very disappointed in Alcatel for that. Very disappointed. It's sitting right here. Um, the screen on it, oh, I imagine it doesn't have any power in it. It's just been sitting here because I used to use it as a power dump from my AC 200p in the summertime because my AC 200p was pulling in so much power. If it could get 650, watts, it's only a 2000 watt hour battery. So it's full in 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? So I was power dumping into the Alcatel, and then I would power dump back from the Alcatel into the AC 200p when I needed to. So this is like 4 kilowatt hours right here at my desk. But they just ghosted me, man. And what it was doing is, my first issue is I had the melted Anderson port. And now my second issue is that I don't know if the capacity is failing because I haven't taken it off the because it actually lifts up my AC 200p. My AC 200p is on top of it. The AC 200p, or the ACP, how I call it, it having a touch screen, it being so low on the floor is annoying to me because I'm always looking at it. At least I was last summer. I don't know how closely I'll be looking at it this summer. But being so low to the floor, the angle on the screen is very bad. Um, and then to touch it, I got to I'm always like leaning down like this, touching the screen. So I put the Alcatel under it to boost it up. Um, so I haven't taken it off of there yet to test it, but I probably will do that soon because I have the Oupes Mega, and then I have the All Powers R1500, to kind of like carry the load downstairs, and then they'll have a good bit of power coming into them. So I won't feel too bad kind of throwing some solar away with testing. Because I don't like using grid power to test these. And it's ridiculous that I think that way because ultimately it's only 20 cents. It's like, come on, get a grip, fill a power station up from the wall. And I have to make myself do that at times, but I don't like doing it. Let me see if y'all seeing anything. Let's see. It's been cloudy here today. It's snow. Oh wow, that's dang. Got two Bluetti AC300s. Love them. Whew. Man, you living a dream. Duran. I like combining my Gulu with my top solar portable panel for convenience. Also have an all pro folding panel that is a 100 watt, but it folds up like a 12-inch square. That's compelling. I got you. She was saying she need to catch back up with you. She was like, I haven't talked to MJ in a while. I wonder how she's doing. I need to touch base. That's how she rolls. And, you could not talk to her for a few weeks, a month or two, and then you just got to get all caught up, man. I'm I used to be a big fan of the AC300 because it had those dual MPPTs, but I don't know if I'm still the biggest fan because what the Oupes has given me is the ability to potentially combine these strings together into one wire. With the AC300, what I would have to do is I would have to run two wires, which is not a problem because I have two wires coming into my basement at all times anyway. That's always a thing. So it's not the biggest issue, but yeah, I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan. Also with the Oupes, it has a 2500 watt inverter, which I found to be very useful for me because what so the video that I have coming out soon, it's probably gonna come out first on Patreon if it comes out in the public at all, because it's an unboxing. The first part of the video is the unboxing, which is the link that's in the description. And then I think I test it for running my whole house from my male to male cables. So what I typically like to do is I like to split up both sides of my panel because if you plug a power station into your wall directly with the male-to-male cable, it only energizes one side of the panel. And then you could use another extension cord if you have another side of your panel close by, which I didn't. But if you have another side of your panel close by, you can run both sides from one power station. But if you think about that, it's basically like running your whole house off of 120 amp outlet. So it's just a recipe for tripping the breaker all the time. Because if you run the air fryer with the microwave, it's definitely going down. If you're running the microwave when the fridge compressor starts up, it's definitely going down. So you know how in your house you have a outlet here and an outlet there. You may take one thing and put it on this outlet and another big thing and put it on another outlet because it's separate outlets. That's kind of how I have to treat power stations. So one side of my panel will be the AC 200p, and then the other side will be like the all powers R1500, because even though it only has like a 1200 watt capacity or whatever it is, it has an 1800 watt inverter. So I can split those loads up a little bit better by putting them on two power stations. So the Oupes is unboxing is okay. It's 2500 watts of inverter. Let me see how well it performs as being a power station for both legs or sides of my panel. So that's the second part. And then the third part is we'll be configuring the solar. And then I'm going to put those all together and make some kind of like real life configuring the Oupes Mega 2 or something like that. That's kind of like the idea. But the first place it's going to come out is to the Patreon folks. So thank you to the folks who support me on Patreon. It's a place where you guys can give monthly just because you rock with me or because whatever, you know what I mean? And for that, I make extra content typically. I may do a giveaway soon just for the Patreon folks, maybe like a 100-watt solar panel. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. So another interesting thing is my son, before we went to New Orleans, he was getting into solar. And it's like a wonderful thing to see him do that because he'll have his panels out there. I actually gave him, the first thing I gave him was the Bowdens, just so he could kind of like get familiar with what's going on. But he got so interested in it that he ended up with the Bowdens, the what's it? What's the OG one we all have? Is it the Go Labs? Yeah, the Go Labs R300. He ended up with the Go Labs R300 and my Rock Pals 500 watt hour. So two of those are LiFePo and then one's lithium ion. So he has like 3 power stations, which I was laughing at because it's like, man, my son then claimed some power stations that I want to give away. So now I have to like adjust my giveaway pattern because he's using some things. So I feel like when I get to a space where I'm ready to give something else away, it's probably going to be the Sateki that's going to go. Actually, if I get any better power stations, the Sateki's probably going to go. My base model Oupes can kind of go. That one's 500 watt hours. This is Sateki's 500 watt hours. And I almost need to find my email for Big Blue to see if they'll send me their new Cell Power 500 joint. Because if they send me that one, then I could be compelled to give away my first Big Blue. I think Minuteman Prep did a review on it, and it can be used and charged at the same time, which the OG one can't. Yeah, Mama. Can you hand her a cinnamon toast stick? One that's kind of like on the softer side. Daddy, yeah. Did you eat all your food? Yeah. Okay, you can grab one off of there. No syrup though. Okay, but no syrup. So with the New Orleans trip, it kind of disrupted all of our flow solarly. So he hasn't really gotten back into the swing of things. Plus, the sun has not been fantastic. So when we first got home, there wasn't a whole lot of sun, but then sun kind of trickled in. And I've been keeping his devices charged because upstairs he's fine. As long as they don't get obnoxiously loud, they're good. I have 2 Rock Pals panels on the balcony, which in the summer they're gonna have to go away. But for now, they are charging my EcoFlow OG model, which the capacity on that is trash, as you expect. It was like one of my first beastie power station 3-4 years ago. So it's not a whole lot of capacity, but I just use it to charge other devices because it can take in 200 watts. One device I'm not using as much is I'm not using my Bluetti EB3A as much anymore because the Oupes is downstairs on two 8mm ports. My EB70 used to be down there. The EB3A used to be by my back door on the window on two 100-watt panels in the clips and the HQST, which are on my banister. But the EB70 is there now because those two 100-watt panels will typically put out about 1,000 watt-hours of power. So the 750 watt-hour capacity on the EB70 is more ideal for that setup. So I switched those out. So the EB3A is kind of floating. But one thing I do like about the EB3A, the All Powers R600, I have two of those now. I'm having problems with my first one. That's a whole nother thing. I don't, man, listen. uh, the EcoFlow Max 2, who else? All three of those they take the AC charge cables, which makes them kind of convenient for me to use because I can grab them, charge them up quickly, and then deploy them where I need to deploy them. So that's convenient. And actually, the EB, if they send me the AC 180, I think what I'm going to do with that, I'm either going to replace my Zone 1 power station with it. Man, I was thinking about all kinds of stuff, man. With the Oupes coming through, it's messing everything up in the most beautifully fantastic way ever. Because what I was gonna do is I was gonna bring the All Powers up here, but because the All Powers are 1500 and the Oupes both have Wi-Fi connectivity, that's actually more beneficial for me to have both of those downstairs because I can monitor them better. And then as they're getting power in, they are ideal power stations to run both sides of my panel. The AC200P is almost like handicapped because it charges so slow. So I can power dump into it, but I can't power dump into it as fast. So imagine the AC200P runs the left side of my panel, which is the main power draw on the whole house. It uses about 200 watts, which ain't a lot, right? But that's my main stuff. That's my fridge. That's downstairs lights. That's basement lights. Not so much upstairs. Again, if you guys saw the video, the unlisted, where I walked you through me kind of configuring things with the male-to-male cables, you kind of saw that. Like the right side of my panel is mainly just the heater, the garage, and like my kids' room, which we live on our ground floor throughout the majority of the day. So that dip will be using as little as like 40 watts if the heater is not on. It uses no power. So the AC200P using a base load of 200 watt hours, when it's done for the day, no more solar, what I'll do is I'll take a battery and I'll go 12 volt to the PV. I have to switch it to PV, from PV to 12 volt, because that's how the AC200P was designed. So I have to switch that over, which is a little annoying. And then I will do a battery typically to my inverter from Best Tech, which maxes out at 500 watts, which is ideal because the adapter itself maxes out at 400 watts. Those cables get a little warm, but I don't think I'm concerned. I was concerned, but I don't think I am anymore. I've been running it pretty consistently and nothing has ever melted. It just gets a little warm. So I'm getting 400 watts, 500 watts with a 200 load, getting 300 watts an hour. That's not producing a whole lot of power into the AC200P versus the All Powers and the Oupes. I set the Oupes to charge up at 800 watts. I dropped it down from 1600 because I don't ever need it to pull 1600 watts from anything. And then I have a wider span of power stations I can use to charge it if I set it down to 800 watts. Whereas like if it was 16, that I got like only the Oupes and the All Powers can do 2000 watts, 1800. in some way, just average it out. But I got the Fiery that maxes out at 12. I got the Vito Man that maxes out at 15. I got the Yolanis that maxes out at 15. So it's just like I would not be able to power dump from these beastie power stations into my beastier Mega 2 if it stayed at 1600. So I set it down to 800. All right, all right, all right. Do I have an AC 300 now? No, no, no. One of the viewers does. Hey, Grand Acres. What's happening? Good to see you. Let's see. I like combining my Gulu. I've actually, man, the Gulu has come in handy a whole lot. I've used it a couple times to charge the battery for my situation. Look how God looked out for me, man. My gray, smaller SUV. I woke up one morning and I needed to get the oil changed. So I was going to shoot over to Valvoline because Valvoline has the drive-through joint where you don't have to get out the whip. For an introvert, that's fantastic. So I go out there to start the car, start warming the car didn't start. I attribute it to just cold weather. We don't drive the car a lot. The battery died, so on and so forth. So I take the Gulu out there. I went through a process of trying to figure out how to use the Gulu, but I think I got it down. You don't have to do anything special. You just have to turn it on and plug it into the battery and connect it. And then it just does this thing. You walk over there, you start the car. It has worked for me. First time I tried it, it did not work for me very well. I don't know what I was doing. Setite was talking about double pressing the button, and I was just like, I don't think that's it, but I don't have to do that anymore. So it wasn't applicable. Start the car up, let it charge for like a half hour, 45 minutes of just running. Jump in the whip, shoot over to Valvoline. Um, they changed the oil. Tell me turn the car off. Oil is changed. He's like, turn the car back on. Car won't start. I'm telling the story like quicker than it really transpired, but I'm sitting in this bay and I don't feel no kind of way, to just to be honest. But it's just like, and so I asked the dude, I was like, you know what? I had to jump it this morning. Can you jump it again? I mean, we're at a car repair shop type business. And he was just like, dude wasn't friendly at all. He was just kind of like meh. He wasn't like in a bad mood or something like that, but he just wasn't friendly. So he was like, "Yeah, I don't think we could jump it. Our car jump thing is probably not charged." And I'm looking at him like, "Why don't you go charge it?" He was like, "Yeah, it may not be charged." I was like, "Can you check?" He's like, "All right, I'll go check." So he goes check, and he brings it over. He was like, yeah, I guess we could just try it. And I'm this was a couple months ago, so forgive me. It's like, I guess we could try it. And I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot, please. So he tries it. He's like, yeah, it's not charged. And then he's like, I was like, well, what about jumper cables? And he was like, nah, we don't have it. And I'm just like, what would you say you do here, man? Like, really? So then the girl on the other bay was like, yeah, I have jumper cables in my car. So they go down that path. And I think they try to jump it and it didn't work. So it's early in the morning. My wife is not an early riser. So we have the van here. And I'm like, babe, what I mean, I'm trying to loop her in because she may need to come and scoop me. The dude was like, yeah, I could sell you one. And I'm like, I don't know if I want you to sell me one. Buying a battery from a place like that versus going to like an auto parts store is probably a different experience. So then my neighbor hit me up. I can't get in touch with Dell. My neighbor hit me up and was like, yeah, the people who've been trying to work on the street, I shouldn't say trying, they've been telling us they're going to work on the street for a good 8 weeks, 10 weeks, never showed up. They planned at least 2 dates, never showed up, put cones out. And I was like, yeah, you're going to have to move your car. Never showed up. Now they at the house. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not there. Let me see if I could get, and I've already been trying to get in touch with Dell. I was like, let me see if I can get in touch with Dell. So I'm trying to call her. She's not answering. Finally, get on the phone with her. And it's like, okay, cool, boom. Let her know what's happening. I don't really need anything, but I was just trying to loop you in because if you need to scoop me, I need you to kind of be alert and awake and all of that jazz. And then she's going to have to grab the kids and all of that. So then she needed to move the car so that the people could do the work. She was able to do that. Cool. After that, I'm still sitting in the bay. You know what I mean? Maybe they're trying to jump it now. So I hit up my neighbor again. I called him right back because he works on cars and stuff like that. I asked the dude how much the battery was going to be, and he was like 130. So I didn't just want to get hit with the okie doke. So I called my neighbor and I was like, yo, what do you think about this? The dude is talking about slinging me the battery for 130. My battery died in my car. And he was like, is he going to install it? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that's a good price. Go ahead and rock with that. So I ended up letting them change the battery out. It was a whole thing. Now, here's the thing about God. My battery could have broke down anywhere, y'all. Anywhere. But it broke down in a freaking bay of a business that was able to sell me a battery. I was so thankful. Like, man, thank you, Lord, for just looking out for me like that. Because I could have been at work. I could have been at the mall, freaking Chick-fil-A, drive-through, or anything, and had my battery break down. So it was just like, that was a good look. It's a very good look. So we got the battery changed out, but the glue has been clutch. Whenever I need to jump something, it works out really well for me. It's actually one of those power stations now because coming off of the traveling, a lot of my power stations were full, and now I've been in such a groove or a decline in terms of like taking care of the solar stuff. I was just letting the fridges run off of power, so I had a lot of power built up. But what I'm noticing now is that my Jackery, which was a replacement, they replaced it for me. My Gulu and my Power Smart, I don't even charge those and use those anymore. And all of those are lithium ion. I mean, the Gulu is a lithium polymer or something like that, but they don't have the same amount of cycles as my LiFePo stuff. So I've been leaning harder on my LiFePo stuff, and I just save those for like emergency situations because they don't have the cycle count anyway. Before then, I was cycling all of those as I needed to because, like with the EcoFlow, I'll hammer a power station either way. I don't care. But because I can now, I don't really need to use them as much, so they just sit somewhere and they don't get used as much. Interesting. Fun times. How about that? All is well. All right, no complaints. How you doing, babe? MJ, say hello. If uh, other people know you're around, they'll start saying hello. My wife said, hey, to everybody. Okay, I got that one. Nothing much. That's so amazing. That your son is interested in solar. My granddaughter's interested as well. She's learning the wattages, etc. It's so amazing. I love it. Yeah, it's pretty dope. The traveling got us off our groove. So we'll see if he gets back into it. And I have to give him a hard time because he'll take his 100-watt panel and block my 300-watt panel. And I'm just like, fam, you gotta chill. Also, Grant Acres is here. Let me tell y'all what happened to me, man. Before I traveled, I wanted to get, because I gave my All Powers 200-watt panel. I actually offered it to anybody who was on the live. If anybody was interested, the people who was on the live, Kimberjack was the only one who expressed interest. So I was going to give that to her. I wanted to get that off to her. I made sure that I tested it before I sent it, and it seemed like it was still doing fine. That one was greatly degraded, but I had hammered it on purpose. I had left it outside, and I was kind of seeing how long it would last, and it started to degrade. I'm pretty sure I made a video about it. The All Powers one with let me just drop it in the joint because, just make life easy, right? It was the All Powers versus the Rock Pals. So one 200-watt panel versus a 100-watt panel, or two 100-watt panels. Let's see, share. Well, that's just stupid. We don't need that. That one, I travel. Oh, it's still kind of weird. All right, I'll just take this link. It's stupid, but I'll take it. And then Grand Acres was interested in a 100-watt Renogy Flex panel. So I go and I'm trying to pack these things up before I have to travel. So I got the all powers off the Kimberjack, and then I pack up the joint with the 100-watt panel for Grand Acres. And it's like I was telling her in text, I was like, I packed it with love, man. Like I packed it up really nice, put it in the box, take it over to FedEx. Actually, no, I put the measurements in the FedEx site to print the label. And when I get the calculation for the quote, y'all, they told me it was gonna be $112 or 100 and some odd dollars to ship this panel to her. And I'm like, what? I thought I was doing something wrong. I was like adjusting the insurance on it and the weight and stuff like that just to kind of see what I was missing. So I actually threw it in the car and I drove over to FedEx because it's not a power station. So I feel like, well, I don't have to schedule a pickup for this. I'll just drive it over. And I was asking them about it. And I was like, is that pricing right or am I tripping? And he was like, did you put the right measurements in? And I was like, yeah. He was like, then that's the price. And I was just like, oh, this is crazy. The joint when I bought it was probably like, it's probably like 129 maybe. Because those joints used to be expensive. They would run you like $200 for a 100-watt panel. They were $2 a watt, or they were like $1.70, $1.80 a watt. But I think I caught it on sale. I was just like, man, so what? Y'all being too loud, guys. So my plan was, hey, you're being too loud. My plan was and is still, I'm going to try and sell that panel. This is the first time Grand Acres is hearing about it. I haven't had a chance to talk to her about it. I'm going to try and sell that panel. And whatever it sells for, I'm going to shoot her the money in CashApp. And then she could put that towards a panel if she wants. So she could do whatever she wants with it. But I was trying to see how much folding panels were now. Because I was just like, man, for $112 ship, she could just buy a whole brand new panel. That's crazy. So it's still in the box, still in the basement. I have to unpack it. I'm gonna probably try and clean it up a little bit because I'm gonna try and sell it. When I was giving it away, I was like, nah, y'all can clean it. I ain't cleaning it. So that's the plan. And if anybody feels so inclined to toss any coins toward Grand Acres getting, the whole whatever, because whatever this panel sells for, if it sells at all, is not going to get her a panel. But I feel like that's the best I could do. So I tried Grand Acres. I tried, and I will continue to try. All right. Let's see. Is it easy to start a YouTube channel? Oh, that's a loaded question. That did my heart good. You tried. I did. I really tried. But we got Kimberjacker panel, and I need to ship a battery to set type. I felt compelled. I didn't tell him this. I don't think I told him this. I felt compelled. Not compelled. I have moments of generosity that I have to be like, God, you sure? Because I'm just generous. I'm incredibly blessed. Just in terms of what I've been able to accomplish, even with only like 8,000 subscribers, and I'm a success in my mind, because when I started this YouTube channel, I'm like, look, man, I'm into solar. I feel like I have a certain demeanor that lends itself well to being able to help people out and talk about something I'm passionate about. So maybe I could start getting free devices, and I've been getting free devices. So my YouTube channel is a success. I'm still trying to get to 10,000 subs because I think that that's going to be the marker that allows me to get some of these more official power stations along with some of the like off-brand joints. That's what is going in my mind. So I felt like I have 5 batteries now. I have the Dr. Prepare. I have 2 Dr. Prepares, but I can't put them in series. I can only put them in parallel. I have the ampere time or the live time. And these 2 joints, I need to make videos for them which I'm slacking on. I have the Power Queen Mini Dip, which I made a short for this one or the Redodo. I'm not sure which one I made a short for. And this is the Redodo, which it's a fantastic. The size of these batteries is fantastic. I love these things. But because I can't put the Dr. Prepares in series, I was going to give one to Setite. And I'm generous, but I am not swift. So he asked me about it like a few days ago. And I was like, you know what? Dang, man. Because I needed, we had talked about that before I went to New Orleans as well. So I need to get that shipped out to him. And then I think I have this 100-watt panel from Flashfish that I may give away soon. I don't know. That may be the one that I give away on Patreon. So it's a 100-watt folding panel. The quality on it is like, it feels a little, but hey, it's 100 watts and it'll be free if you pay for shipping. Other than that, you know what I mean? Like shipping will probably be like $20, $25. But it being a folding panel, I shouldn't have as much issue with shipping as I did with this 100-watt rigid panel. And then I have the two Bourgeois V flexible panels that I kind of want to hammer those. I feel like if during summer, I may do that. I may just put them out there, but I don't know. All right. Question. We got a question. This is a non-solar related, but are you using the Osmo Pocket 3 for vlogging? That is an interesting question. All right. So I got some new hardware. I am not using the Osmo Pocket 3. What made you ask that? The Osmo Pocket 3 is a handheld, like, little vlogging camera that has a 1-inch sensor on it, and it's pretty groundbreaking in terms of its capabilities, its form factor. It's not a new form factor, but it's a more improved, because there's an Osmo Pocket, there's a Pocket 2, and now we have the Pocket 3. It has a 1-inch sensor that allows it to perform much better in low light than a lot of the previous like handheld action cam type of joints. I've been watching it very closely. The price is very off-putting, but it's kind of worth it. It's really good. It costs like $600 though for this little joint that is actually nice. It's a gimbal built in, so it's automatically going to give you much smoother footage. But action cameras give you smooth footage anyway. What I use to record now, for most videos, I use my cell phone a lot. I have this Osmo Action, the original one. So they have 4 versions of this. The Action 2 was a more modular joint. The Action 3 was one that was like this. They returned back to this style instead of that ridiculousness they was using with the modular 2-piece joints. And then the Action 4 came out a little bit before the Pocket 3. So the Action 4 does not have the 1-inch sensor, but it has like a low light mode. It does have a bigger sensor than the previous cameras, but it was $400 when it came out. And I'm like, man, I'm not spending $400. But it went on sale for $299 and I got one. So not $2.99, $200.99. So I got a new action camera. Huh? Did I say it weird? Okay. The grown folks know what I'm talking about. It's little I who was confused. He was like $2. So I got a new action camera. It's supposed to be better in low light. So we're just gonna go down a tech path for now. Y'all gonna have to humor me because it impacts how I create content. So I got this joint, and it was $299. I was like, man. Plus I had like $180 in like Amazon gift cards. So I was thinking about like if I could do like $100 for my solar joint. And my wife and I, we have like a family vlog channel that we haven't put a video on in a very long time. But like I said, we've been recording the videos. We just need to edit them. So it's going to serve dual purposes. So I was like, if I could do 100, maybe the family from the family finance, we could toss 100, 180 in gift cards. I was going to get the adventure combo joint, which comes with their camera, 2 extra batteries, a battery charging case, and a little telescoping handle. And I was really debating on that really hard. Like, do I want to spend an extra $100? Because on my OG action camera, this is the one that I record a lot of videos on. Like if I'm sitting down in my living room or something like that, I'm typically recording on this. I have 2 batteries, and I'm pretty sure I got a good deal on these. I may have even bought these off of the marketplace or they were on sale or something. I'm not sure. But I've never actually really needed those extra batteries. They're always like a convenience more than anything. So I was really, this is how my process works. I was really like trying to figure out if I needed to spend this extra $100 on this battery pack. And I'm like, dude, I have, I have battery power all over the place. So I'm like, why would I spend $60 extra for just a container that opens up, and then you could put 2 batteries in or your third battery, and then you could charge it via USB-C. And it's like, I have this. I mean, if I need battery power, I have battery power. And that battery case that they have is like $60. It's 60 of the dollars that you pay for. And then the telescoping handle, which you could get something from Ulanzi for like $20. And I already got like the Manfrotto joints. They don't telescope, but I mean, I don't necessarily need. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get the $299 one. And then I was glad I thought that, because this camera has the ability to connect to a wireless microphone via Bluetooth. So I bought the new wireless microphone, and it's $99. I was like, man, I saved that $100 on that. I'm gonna spend $100 on this. This is going to greatly increase the ease by which I create content. And one of the major reasons why I was interested in getting a newer action camera is because the Osmo Action 3 and the Action 4, both of the screens work at the same time. So you get both screens on the front and the back. Whereas like my original one, I have to actually flip it. And I do a lot of stuff where I'm looking at myself. So I have to actually flip it around and then do that. So now I don't have to do that anymore. It has dramatically increased my ease of use in grabbing this camera. And then having this wireless microphone is going to dramatically increase my ease of use in this camera and getting good audio at most times outside of the wind. Because I don't think I would ever use a furry wind cat on here or whatever to stop the wind noise from coming through. So good question, because I was going to talk about that anyway. You just reminded me. But the Pocket 3, I would love both of them. Also, another thing, just to let you know how my mind works as a consumer, the Osmo Action 3 went on sale for $299, which is more my comfort zone. When they first came out, they would typically sit at about $329. It coming out and being $399, it wasn't as competitive. This was always to compete with the GoPro style action cameras. The Pocket 3, $700 for whatever kit you would get. I don't think it gets any cheaper than that. It might be like $599 for just the camera, but everybody tells you to get the creator combo. This joint, it's with spending the $299 on it, I had to debate because it does not have the best sensor in it like the Pocket 3. Okay, the Pocket 3 has the better sensor in it, hands down. But if I'm going to buy the Action 5, which will probably come out in August, it's not going to be $299. I don't think it's going to be $499. I think that camera is going to be $600. So I'm not going to wait a whole 8 months to upgrade my camera only for a price point that I wouldn't spend anyway. So I just went and spent the $299. So I was weighing things heavy when I tell you, like, I really be digging into stuff, like trying to figure out what's best. And the reason why I have to do that is because not all revelations hit me at once as a consumer. For example, I was thinking about buying that battery pack because it's like I got almost $200 in free money basically, and then I might as well splurge the extra 220 plus tax to get like the nicer combo. It's like if ever there was a reason to get the nicer combo, it's the fact that I had $200 on deck. Mama, you around? It's like where the Chaldeans go? But then I was glad that I didn't do that because the microphone was, I think it's going to be $99, incredibly well spent. Now, oh, this is like when I tell you the battery case that has the two batteries for the Osmo Action that costs $60, kind of similar to this style of thing. So it opens up, it's all fancy and whatever. I actually have this wireless microphone, but this wireless microphone needs to actually connect into the camera, which is not as bad. But that Bluetooth joint doesn't need anything to connect to the camera. It's just going to work wirelessly, which I think is going to be fantastic. Let's see. Question. So what made you ask? So MP Tech, I'm going to assume, because that sounds like Mo's Prep and Tech. Did you change your name? Or is this a different channel? I guess I wonder if I could see it in here. Oh, Sharp Farmer, you didn't receive any notice. I tried my best to give y'all a ton of lead time on this one. Same person, cool, good. All right. Meaning, do I have to sign contracts, pay a monthly fee, and lots of paperwork? Oh no. It's easy to start a YouTube channel. Actually, you already, because what Google did some time ago is, in order to use your Google account to do anything on YouTube, they essentially make a channel for you. So you already have a channel associated with your account anyway. You may have to do some things to like activate it, but you don't have to sign anything. You just start making videos and rock out. I've been on YouTube a lot searching for a good camera and seeing you in a comment on a few channels I was on. That's what's up. I was thinking about the Action 4 because that gimbal on a Pocket 3 looks so fragile. Absolutely. It's like that's what it is. The power packs do make more sense. And the action camera charges really fast. So I've never needed a battery pack on my old action camera. It's just more convenient than anything. Like if I set up the charger and it's just like, oh, my battery's dead. Dang it. Let me go get another battery. I've never been out with the family and recorded so much that I needed another battery. It's more like me being forgetful and not charging the device, and then a battery just comes in handy. So that gimbal is delicate. The inability, like that tracking feature on it, can get annoying because the camera is constantly moving, and it's smooth, don't get me wrong, but it's constantly moving. And then if you kind of want to just point and shoot at something, it gets a little more difficult. So it's a nice camera. If I had $1,000 to burn, I would have bought both. But there's no situation where I got like $1,000 to burn. I may have $1,000, but I ain't got it to burn. But if that Pocket 3 ever hit a $299 price point, I might be compelled to grab one, because that's one of those devices that even a few years from now, that quality is still going to be good enough to make good content on YouTube. But Al Smoking, man, creating a YouTube channel is super easy. You can go ahead and rock out. The power packs do make more sense. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the Osmo Action, it charges fast. So in about 15 minutes, you could get up to 80%. So back earlier in our vlog days, we didn't have a vehicle. So we would like catch the bus, or maybe we were in a car, but mainly we was on the bus before we figured out how to rent cars for kind of somewhat a decent amount of money, and then maximize the having of that vehicle. So if I was on the bus or something, having a battery would be good, because then you're away from outlets and stuff like that. But we have a car, so it's like if I'm out vlogging with the family and the battery is a problem, I one have a battery pack and then I two have the ability to charge in the car. And then I got power stations and stuff like that. It just didn't make sense to spend a whole $100 on a freaking handle and a battery pack. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Let me check my title. All right. So moving forward, what I have a video coming out that so like my channel is not all about products. It's about like using products, real life, and so on and so forth. I know that only appeals to a core audience. Most people are into the devices. That's what they want to know how the device works. They want to know, if it's worth spending the money. Even some people who are not in the market for one, they want to know how well it works because maybe if they're in the market for one, then they have that kind of archive of information. I love solar. I love watching videos about solar. I made this channel because a channel like mine didn't exist back then. And I don't think a channel like mine still exists. You have there's this guy, his name is Rodney something. I don't know the name of his channel, but he is more so like a DIY person and he has like those all-in-ones and all of that jazz. And you have Minuteman Prep, who's like more on the preparedness, but talks about solar. Then you Will is like a off-grid DIY person. Hobotech is like product only, but he was like a, a van guy or whatever, a nomad. So I'm just a homeowner who loves to save my few pennies on power and enjoys power and stuff from the sun. So my channel is not all about the products themselves. So I do have a video and a series of videos that are coming out that are going to be casual if you guys didn't see it, because some people talk about their notifications. And let me speak on notifications really quickly. Notifications, even if you have your notifications turned on, YouTube is still going to see how you spend your time watching content. So if you don't spend a whole lot of time watching my content, which is mainly my fault because I haven't been putting out a lot of content consistently, then those notifications won't necessarily pop up because after a certain point, getting notified ceases to be useful because you get notified for everything. You know what I mean? It's like, so YouTube is very particular with how they show you videos from certain creators. Because even though you subscribe to a bunch of channels, they're not going to show you all those videos. So they're very like strategic in how they present content to you. One, they want to see you spend a lot of time on the platform. They are interested in who gets you to the platform. So when you come to the platform, who's the first creator you watch? They see how long you watch that creator. They see how frequently you watch that creator. And then I think that that kind of more so dictates to how they do your alerts. So it's like I can't knock YouTube because one, I haven't been making a whole lot of content. I feel like I've been steady, but not like running on all cylinders. Just listening for my kids. Guys, hold on one second. So, and then it has to do with like, so if there's a situation where I put out a video that's just like a fun, like the vlog video, that vlog video is not going to do well. It's not going to do as well as some product videos. Some of my product videos don't do well because they're not in the big three. People don't know them, so they don't watch the videos. So ultimately, what I'm saying is YouTube is watching user habit, and if your viewing habits don't necessarily line up with watching a whole lot of Ask I, then they probably won't notify you as often, and they won't show you the content when the new content comes out because you haven't been watching it lately. So that's, thanks for attending my TED Talk. Resurrection Sunday. What's happening? Hey, is there a good place to go for a simple van setup in the Los Angeles area? Good to see you again. I get hardly any channels that I'm subscribed to. I don't know anything about van configurations I imagine since you're looking for somebody to do it, that this must be very important to you. Um, I don't know at what level, but yeah, vans are interesting. I just feel like get you something to meet your needs and then kind of do your research to see if you can like get you something that gets you on the road. Power station, folding solar panel, flexible solar panel. Folding is probably best if you don't have any kind of ability to do any hands-on work, nor do you have a desire to figure that stuff out. Then yeah, I would go folding. You could even do flex, honestly. A 100-watt flex panel or 200-watt flex panels could fit very nicely into a van if it's not chock full of stuff. But I don't know anything in LA, let alone where I live. Maybe frequent. I don't know how to. I don't know that I would count on any. I thought about Jehu. Jehu's on the West Coast, and he's into DIY stuff. He is in Cali too. His audience may know of installers in LA who could help you out with that. Equally, what's happening? Just got here. Have you talked about those massive solar panels you went and picked up? How are they working out? Yeah, I got the two 300-watt panels. That was a flashback. So that was from like earlier in the year. Um, I guess we are early in the year. So it's from like mid last year. I get backed up on content so easily, man. I swear. I have to figure something out. Has been more than a minute. Yeah, for a live stream, that's for sure. You ever thought about using one of those cheap grid tie inverters from all the time? But they're not reliable enough, and I'm not gonna put a fan on them or anything like that. Also, the way in which they work, I feel like I would have to constantly monitor it because I'm either going to do a very small panel array, like 200 watts, 300 watts. My wife is talking about food. We was actually talking to MJ when we tried this spot nearby. And the food was good. It was pricey. There's this influx of um I'm black, so I'm going to talk about it as a black man. There's this influx of black businesses that are food centered that are preparing food, and the food is typically delicious, but it's very expensive. So this is one particular spot that we tried, and it was actually nice, but they rarely open, and they're very expensive. But I was like, if they open, try them. Go for it. They ain't open all the time, so let's give it a shot. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Those panels, the two 300-watt panels. I'm trying to think back to that time and what I did with them. So I had 400 watts. I rearranged. They're working fine. I mean, on a good day, I expect to get about I expect to get about 240 watts from them if they're in the sun. They don't. My expectations for solar panel output is 80%, and that's what I see. I very rarely see a situation where I'm getting more than 80%. It might be like when that Renogy was brand new, brand spanking new from the person I bought it from. It was my first time buying a large panel off of the market, but it was a new panel. Those 300-watt panels were the second time I bought panels off of the market, but they were used panels. That Renogy, when I got it here and I plugged it up the first time, it got 320, maybe 330 watts, but has never done that again. So they perform well. My expectations are metered though. I only expect 80%. That's about what they do. I get about 240, 230, 220, 225. Actually, yesterday, because it was cold and it was bright, I was seeing about 250 on my All Powers R600, the old one, because the new one is quieter, but it maxes out at 220 watts, I believe, which is interesting because now it's more so in line with the EcoFlow River 2 Max, which maxes out at 220. So they're very similar now, whereas like that first All Powers it was beast mode to be able to take in up to 300 watts of solar. So that one is on my top floor. The AC60 is on my top floor, which I want to replace with something. I was going to do the all powers, but as I mentioned earlier, I want to keep that one downstairs because it has Wi-Fi on it. Also, it has Wi-Fi on it, and I've seen this on two different situations now. My EcoFlow, the beautiful thing about those is, well, they lose connectivity sometimes, so I can't give them that. But with the all powers, the R600, both new and old. No. The old one, it actually, the Bluetooth stays on all the time. The new one, you have to turn it on every single time after a power cycle. The Oupes Mega is the same way, and the All Powers R1500 is the same way. That don't make no doggone sense to me. What good is Wi-Fi connectivity if after the device dies, the Wi-Fi connectivity does not come back on when the device powers back up? It's bad enough that EcoFlow is the only company that seems to have in a power station AC that turns back on with the device after it reaches a certain point, which is a fantastic feature. I did a video on that. But the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth does not come back on when the device turns back on. That's it blows my mind. It blows my mind that's how these devices are configured. So I would hope that the AC 180 one, if I get it from Blue Yeti, we'll see. If the Wi-Fi stays on it and persist, because that one may go into my main area, and then I'll try and put a 300-watt panel on it. Somebody asked me about bifacials. I'm interested in bifacials. So maybe because I think Bourgeois is starting to implement bifacials now. Renogy is also implementing bifacials now, but I have no hopes of getting Renogy anything. Renogy won't send stuff to some big people. They act kind of funny with them, so I don't expect them to ever show me love. I did get emailed by somebody, and I think JC DIY also did as well. It didn't pan out for me. I don't know if it panned out for him, but how much time we at? 1:30. I don't know if it panned out for him, but Renogy had like a couple like bifacial panels. I love that that's where the industry is going. I think that is a fantastic place to be. Um, Renogy also has the big bifacial 450s and 550s now. They have been on sale a couple of times. I did like a Black Friday live stream on it. I did like a cyber whatever, like a Prime Day live stream on them as well. I think they were on sale. Those are actually a really good deal for buying panels from a place like Amazon, where you're getting like two panels. I think the shipping was actually decent too. I'm not sure, but I like the idea of bifacials. I can't wait to have something, because what I'm hoping is that we're going to see these panels start to get smaller for the amount of output that you can get out of them. Like right now, I have all of these 300-watt panels, and they're big. And with how they're positioned, if I add any more 300-watt panels, I run the risk of blocking the other panels, especially in winter. Summer is an interesting thing as well, because I have to figure some things out there, but I may have a little more flexibility for summer. There's actually a local guy who's selling some 300-watt panels. I think they might be 320s, and they're, what do they call it? Split cell? Half cell, where the top half of the panel is wired independently from the bottom half. So if you have shade on the bottom, the Bourgeois V is like that. If you watch the Bourgeois V video, I did a blip on it, but I forgot to talk about it. But when you see those two segments, like bottom and top, when you get shade on the bottom part, the upper part still works. That would be actually useful for me, because my neighbor built all of this stuff that casts shadow, and sometimes it only casts shadow on the bottom half of some of my panels, and then eventually it casts shadow on the top half. But then I'd be still getting power, versus like now when it starts to get shade on them, my array is just kaput. All right, it has been, we covered that. Yeah, I think about these often. I don't know if I finished that idea. I just feel like I would have to monitor them, or go with a really small a really small joint because my power usage is so low that I can't get 1,000 watt grid tie inverter and then throw maybe like 600 watts into it because it runs the potential because those devices don't have islanding or anti-islanding. I'm not sure which one it is. I run the risk of sending power back to my grid folks. And I don't mind micromanaging stuff, but I can't micromanage that because I'd have to be running down there all the time. Like, oh, the sun is popping, turn it off, or it's just going to have to be a 200-watt array. At this point, that doesn't necessarily do me any good. I don't think. And then they also have the ability to just die on you because they're not well crafted devices. So I just feel like it's a waste of money outside of being able to make a video on it. I don't know. That's kind of where I stand with it. Flex panels. Thanks. That's a good place to start. I did pick up 2 rigid panels and 2 small generators, but all the fuses and wires got my head spinning. Some say get a controller, some say no. Okay, if you're still around, this is the beauty of power stations because they eliminate all of that stuff. You just get a power station, you get a panel. You hook the panel up to the power station, you get power. Vans and now I don't know if all-in-ones are good for van life because of the fans, but they're now getting to a place where they have like breakers built in and you don't have to worry about you some of them come with cables. You can just hook them up to a battery and you have the inverter and all of that built in and you run your solar into it, but I don't know if it would be conducive to a van setup because of the fans. So I think that your best bet is now you said you had panels and 2 small generators. If you're talking about solar generators or portable power stations, then you wouldn't need fuses and stuff like that for just 2 rigid panels. That's if you want to go DIY and kind of want to protect your system, but you don't need fuses and all of that. Listen, I'm on Telegram, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, all under Ask I Solar. Where else? I think that's it. I feel like look me up on there, and then if we need to have like a 10-15 minute chat, I'm fine with that. I actually thought about doing like consulting for like a decent price. I don't think I'm at that place yet where people or whatever. And the main reason for that is if somebody absolutely just needed to talk. You could talk to me in any capacity. I don't think that that's ever going to change. But if you like needed to jump the line type of thing, like man, I need to talk to somebody just to give me peace of mind for this equipment that I'm about to buy. I want to make sure that I'm considering all the angles, like I've considered all the angles. So I thought about doing that. That'd be an interesting way to help out and also make some coins, just to deliver some value that could be, paid for. Because I know if when I was early in my solar journey, and if I had to buy something, if I didn't have the luxury of being able to research and continue to like learn and so on and so forth, but I needed to get something because of preparedness, peace of mind, or I was going to go travel, I feel like I wouldn't mind spending a dub if I had to contrast that to the possibility of me spending $1,500, $1,000, $700, $2,000 to talk to somebody to kind of walk me through the basics so that I didn't like fumble my money or waste my money. I think that'd be worth it. What's up, Byron? Okay, I read this on Flex Panels. I picked up 450-watt panels. And the thing that sucks about it is the max VOC of my AC. I can't use them all in series. Yep. I tried a 2S 2P configuration, but it feels like I wasted my money. Okay. You have the AC 300. So you must have more panels than this. You can't just have four 450s. You probably have 450s and something else because those 450s would be fine, right? If they sit at a So here's the thing. I may have talked about this briefly, but I wanted to consolidate my wires, which the Oupes Mega is going to allow me to do. I've been wanting to consolidate my wires because I've been having like I have all of these arrays, and I'm not complaining. It's fine. I do what I have to do, but I have a bunch of arrays, which means I have a bunch of cables coming into my house, which means I have a bunch of cables in my driveway mainly. And we use our driveway in the winter, which is fine. You know, what I mean, I was sick, so my wife was actually forced to go in and like move all my cables to the side. She did it. She was probably frustrated about doing it, but she did. Anyway, married life, right? So the I was entertaining going down the MPPT route because I'm just like, man, if I could figure something out, maybe somebody could send me something, or I could buy something that I could make a system and get some of these cables combined. But all of the MPPT charge controllers outside of all-in-ones, they max out at 150 volts. I'm like, what's been all the rage of DIYing your system all these years if all you could get is 150 volts into these joints? And bonus to that, the joints don't take in that much solar to begin with. It'll be like 150 volts at like 1200 watts. I'm like, what? It was mind-boggling, the limitations of charge controllers. I was just like, I don't know why anybody would do this if Power Station is doing 152. Now the all-in-ones doing like 500 max VOC or whatever, 400 watt, 400 volts and 500 volts. I think that that's fantastic. If I could get something like that, that would be great. Because then I wouldn't have any limits on how many panels I could put in series. But 450 watts, I imagine if they're like 50 volts, or 40 volts, which is typical, they should be able to be used in series. You get up to 80. You got 4 though. But that could still work. You put 2 in series, 2 in series. That's what you said, 2S, 2P. But you have the AC 300, which can take different panel configurations. So you could put 3 in series and then put 1 in the whole other different MPPT. And then that one panel, you could kind of move around and chase the sun if you needed to, if you had the capacity to. And you could have the 3 in series just kind of rock out in their fixed position. And when they got the sun banging, then they bang out. But for that extra panel going into the second MPPT, you could use that and just kind of chase the sun and get power here and there. 450. You say you have 4? Let me see here. Yeah. Unless they're like high voltage panels. Because some of those sun power cells, the sun power panels, they'll be sitting at like 90 volts, 80 volts. So yeah, you couldn't use those in series. Let me see what you say. If I had the money that equal for ultra that I'd get in a heartbeat, the VOC on that is huge. I forgot the exact number. Yeah, it's something crazy. What is it? It might be like in the 400 range. I wonder if I could check it out real quick. EcoFlow Delta Pro Ultra Megatron. What is it called? Oh man. Let's see here. My life is so simple, man. I can't even understand the idea of that panel. That smart panel is way above my pay grade. If I had the numbers of subs in the following to get that joint, I would be like, y'all could just keep that smart panel. That could be short-sightedness in my mind, in my life. I'm just like, I ain't gonna use that. Dude, where the specs at, fam? Holy moly. I guess maybe I could have found it if I just wasn't looking for specs. Accessories. Oh jeez. It's like these people are getting better with having the specs on the page. Like look at this as specs. But it wasn't always easy to find. So input. Yeah, see? It's like, does it tell you 160 watts? 1600, 1800 max, 3000 max, 100. Yeah, it doesn't tell you. This is another reason why I make videos, because I feel like that information is not readily available. So don't even tell you. Son of a blues player. All right, Byron coming through with the specs. Click specs upper right. Yeah. It didn't come through. All right, let's see here. If I had it, I think that your consulting idea sounds good. You should go for it. Yeah, I'll get into it at some point. I don't think I have the following for it, to be honest, but it's something that you can offer, even if, a few people here and there want to take advantage. They could. 7.2, output 6, capacity, boom, input, prolong. Yeah, I'm looking for the voltage though. I feel like I watched videos recently about it. I just can't remember. And it doesn't say it here. Am I just missing it? Power input output port, 30 amps. It just tells you the max. Yeah, I don't know. That sucks. Freaking EcoFlow bombs. Let me talk about EcoFlow for a second. Might as well, right? Then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Oh, let me talk about EcoFlow. My EcoFlow River Max 2. It is a very nice device, but I'm still disappointed in EcoFlow. And if I had the capacity to make a video about it, because like I have a situation where I have to make product videos and then I can make like free flowy whatever I want to make videos. And I have so many product videos to make, which I'm never, God help me, Lord help me to never do that again where I overload myself with products like this because it weighs down on me. It's almost like, how people say, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? I have a problem with that because I just have to pick a device and then I have to like make the video. And a problem with that also is that because I'm always like piecemealing my situation, like the Yolanis here, the Ace, the Vito man here, I'm actually using the devices. It's hard to pull those devices out of rotation to make the video. But as I get more and more devices, it becomes easier. The Oupes Mega 2 is going to help with that because a lot of my panels are going to go into that depth. But anyway, the EcoFlow River 2 Max, that device, for as nice as it has problems that I feel like EcoFlow should be past. The fact that that wine exists on that product and they basically told me that like, yeah, it whines and that's normal is bananas to me. You got cheaper products. Their own first version product doesn't make the whining noise. um, Also sometimes when it's charging, which I don't blame it, but I feel like you're freaking EcoFlow, what the heck is going on here? Sometimes I cannot get that device to turn back on at all. It's not off. It's in like this ghost state where the light is on the screen, but nothing is displaying. I don't even know if it's getting in power. It's a weird situation. I have to like unplug it from solar, power it down. And I think in some ways, even if I power it back up, it may not power back up, or I have to plug power into it. USB-C charging, even if I have a device that is output only, it doesn't always work. I don't know if I can put that on the device, the EcoFlow. Oh, my battery's about to die. Hold up. I'm gonna have to get out of here soon. Anyway, it's gonna force me. I guess what I can do, I can unplug this external monitor, and then I'll plug in this. All right, my USB-C hub died. The HDMI died, so it's messing up my workflow tremendously. But I have this portable monitor. I only have two USB-C ports. I got one USB-A, and the camera has to go into the USB-A. So now I need power, and I need a USB-C cable going to the microphone, and I need USB-C going into my portable monitor. So I had to basically sacrifice power to get my portable monitor up to share the screen, and then the microphone had to go into one of the ports. But anywho, um, the USB-C does not always work reliably, and I feel like it should work better. with a non-bi-directional power station. Like my All Powers R600, both of them have non-bi-directional USB-C ports. Sometimes I plug it into the EcoFlow and it does not start charging. Sometimes I have to power that device all the way down, which is a pain because it runs my internet sometimes. And sometimes it is charging something else where I don't want to power it down. Also, when you have solar coming into it, I'm trying to get that power. You can't turn it off when the solar is coming into it. But now because I have the EcoFlow over there, I have the All Powers R600. Both of them have loud fans. The fan noise is a problem. The fan is too doggone loud. I don't know if their later versions are better. Some people talk about how they don't have the whine, but I've never heard anybody talk about the fan noise. Jason Noy did talk about the fan noise on the Pro is better, the Pro River model, not the Delta Pro. So that's an interesting thing. If they ever popped up and emailed me and wanted to send me a River Pro, I'd be elated because then I could give the River 2 Max to my son. And then he would have a legit power station with app control. And I think that would be really fun for him. The USB-C would be fun too, because then it would be easily charged. But it's just like for EcoFlow's second iteration and for them to have as much experience as they have with making power stations, for that device to be so not just completely polished is crazy to me. It's bananas. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Am I tripping or what? Okay. Hello. You are you are too late. But if you have a question, shoot, and I'll try and help. But we've been on for about 2 hours. So I'm going to be wrapping this up soon. Found a manual that says it has low PV input of 150 volts, which it does, and a high PV of 450. Thank you. Set tight. Researches. That dude, he be getting it in. I appreciate you, sir. Greatly. So it's 450 volts. They have wireless monitors. It works good. Interesting. I was just wondering about that. There was supposed to be like a wireless situation many years ago, but it never worked well. That's something, man. I'll have to look into that. Wireless monitors. I want a legit USB-C desktop monitor. There was one on the marketplace and I wanted to buy it. It was so cheap. I don't think the person selling it kind of knew the benefit or the tech, whatever that was into. It was like a 4-inch or something. It was crazy affordable, but coins was limited. So I was just like, ah. And then by the time I reached out to her, because I was weighing it, I think she said it had sold. But I want a legit USB-C powered big monitor. Whereas like now, what I have is a USB-C powered portable monitor. So, and I like this because it sits in, it didn't come with this. I bought this myself. It sits in this. And it has HDMI, not full HDMI. It has like micro or I think it's mini HDMI. But I like the fact that I can extend my monitor with a single cable. I'm all about reducing the cables. But because no USB-C hub supports video over USB, in order to use it with my limited amount of ports, what I have to do is I have to sacrifice a port on my laptop, and then my hub takes the other port and I could plug other things into that. So what that means is every time I get up and I need to take my main laptop with me, I have to disconnect 2 cables. I would rather have to disconnect 1 cable, but first world problems, am I right? Sorry, just getting off work. Oh no, ain't no apologies. It's just like I understand that the live is about to end, but it's gonna be here. You can always rewind and go back and watch. You can even watch at 2x if that floats your boat. So no apologies necessary here. I feel like my light got all weird. Anybody have any questions? My 300 watt panels have been in effect for a while. I'm going to keep putting out these videos. Tuesdays is the typical day that I like to put out videos. I have not been adhering to that because I've been not putting out videos so often that when the videos are ready, I kind of want to put them out. I was listening to this guy, Myron, something with a G. He's like this YouTube person that's doing very well. He basically confirmed what I said, and he confirmed what I knew, which is that if you put out videos too close to each other, they cannibalize each other's views. That's kind of why I stopped doing the live streams right after the video. But I think I may go back to that because I don't know if live streams impact real videos the same way like putting out a video on Monday and Wednesday will impact each other. So I used to put out videos regularly on Tuesday, and then I would do a live stream right after that. So I'm committed to trying to do a live stream every week. I would love to have it be on a specific day, but I have not arrived in that space yet. I also want to commit to putting out videos on Patreon on a specific day, even if it's not every week. I think what I may feel comfortable with doing on Patreon is doing like new videos on either Monday or Friday so that people know when to check for new videos instead of waiting and hoping that they'll get notified or that they're in the app often. I need to bring some regularity to the video thing on Patreon, because even if I don't have a video, I at least want y'all to know, if you're supporting me on Patreon, which salute to you guys who do, to check on Mondays for a new video or to check on Fridays. And the reason why I want to have two options is because I may not have a video ready on Monday, but I'm working on the video and then it could be ready on Friday, instead of like not having a video on Monday and then waiting all the way to the next Monday to put it out. But that's how my brain works. I'm a weirdo. I accept that. What's up, Kevin? Just out here chilling, man, reading Byron's his discoveries out here in the street. Oh, okay. So it's wireless and it has a battery. So it's fully self-contained. I'm almost not a fan of that. I don't mind it being wireless, but I'd like to put my own power in it because then that cuts down on bulk. But that's compelling. Interesting. Flex mirror OLED 13. Oh, I can't copy here. Son of a blues player. Can I copy over here? Yes, I can. I'm gonna have to check this out. Did I copy it? I was tempted to make a video. I have like a random tech videos channel. It's not active or anything. I just kind of like have it set up. I want to make a video about my buying experience with the DJI Osmo Action, because I think that that point of view that I shared is a good one that people would appreciate. People always talking about 10-point multi-touch on these monitors. I ain't never found an app where that's actually useful. Oh, this is interesting. It's expensive as all get out. $400. Is that bad? I don't remember what I paid for my portable panel. I don't think it was close to $400 though. You can charge it with USB-C. I made a video on it. Yeah, I feel you. I would imagine you could. I would imagine you could. That's a neat find. I'll probably be interested in it in a couple years when it's more affordable. But I'm going to do some research on it. That's kind of how my brain works. I'll look into stuff, but I don't need to move on it or act on it quickly. $400 is a lot of money for a wireless monitor, for a monitor at all. Oh, snap. I got my first DC fridge from Set Power. I got a 53 quart joint. I'm excited about it because it's going to be nice to have during the summertime months. And I'm excited about how we will be able to use it just in our normal day to day. I wonder how like, would we want to use it if we took our kids to like the museum or something like that, to have some cold drinks in the car that, you know, running off a power station would be able to maintain that coldness, or like some food or something. I think that would be very interesting. Very interesting. I was debating on whether or not I should get a smaller one. I'm always leaning towards just getting a bigger one, but I was talking with Set Tight and he was like, yeah, before he even heard the details, he was like, get as big as possible. And then what we both kind of discovered in our own different ways is that the footprint doesn't change. It just gets taller. So, you know, I don't know if that's going to be great. Sometimes we take like, you know, a couple hour long drive to a destination and it's nice to have that cooler, but I wonder how much space it's going to take up since I got the tallest version. But I feel like I'm going to enjoy making the video, and there will probably be more videos to come in that particular niche. Maybe they'll send me a different size, or I don't know. I think that that's in my wheelhouse to do portable fridge videos that run off of power stations. So it's going to be very interesting. You know what? I was talking with Setai about this as well. Portable fridges don't seem like they're more energy efficient. There's always in my mind seemed like they were more energy efficient, but I think they use the same amount of power relative to their size as like a chest freezer. I mean, my chest freezer uses about 75 watts, I believe, an hour, and these DC fridges uses about 45 watts, and they're like a quarter of the size. So I was just like, I don't think they're that much better on power usage. They just use so little, but because they're so small. But anyway, stuff I'd be thinking about. Let's see. Just make sure to check. Make sure you crack the windows. I run one with the EB70 in July. Car gets real hot. That's interesting. That's something to think about. I thought about the Bluetti DC fridge, but I don't know yet. So Mo's Prep and Tech. What do you think about the idea? I mean, the AC300 has two MPPTs. So how do you feel like you're limited? Do you feel like you're limited because you want to run them all in series off of one cable and you can't? Or because I mean, you could split those up into two sets and then run them off of a separate MPPT, however you want it. What did you think about that idea? Does it just not jive with your preferences? I got one. Can't wait till you review it. I really should have gotten a bigger one. However, they are heavy with that little motor on it. Glad I have it. That's interesting. Weight too, because then it's like, what, man? I guess what we could do is maybe we could get some type of little collapsible cooler, like a little soft frame cooler to take the stuff that is cold in the fridge, and then if we're at the beach or something, we could grab a couple of drinks and some food. Maybe we made sandwiches or something like that, and then we take that in a little collapsible cooler. Because carrying something like that to the beach just seems impractical. It feels like it's supposed to be like in the whip, not coming with you to be powered by a power station to keep stuff cold. Now, if you had like a picnic or something like that and you're driving up to a table, I could see that being like very efficient. That's a dope idea too, to be able to be out at a campground, not a campground because I don't camp, in a park, and then have your stuff with you, have a power station, have a little small solar panel. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm also going to put a video. I shot it vertical. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to upload it, and I'm going to drop it in the description unlisted of this video of me talking about why I pick certain power stations when I travel and the panels that I pick and why I didn't pick some panels. I think that would be cool. I was going to toss that over to Patreon as well. But I'm going to throw it unlisted. I'm going to still put it on Patreon, but I'm going to throw it unlisted here after the video if you guys want to check that out. Also, for some of you who joined the video late, go and check out my unboxing video. You guys on a live stream are kind of like not the best audience to ask because y'all committed like you read about. That's why I give stuff away on live streams, because I feel like live stream folks is they are core folks. So y'all may not be the best to ask, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Go and watch my unboxing video and let me know if you'd like to see more unboxing videos. Is that something you could see being valuable on Patreon? Patreon starts at like $3 a month or something like that. I have a discounted tier on there that I just never changed. The real base tier is like $5 a month. But when I was first setting it up, I was kind of like, let me remove the what's that phrase? Remove the hurdle to whatever. So let me know that. That'd be great. I'd appreciate that. Comment on the video itself. You don't have to comment here. But I think that would be a cool situation. Have a power station, a panel, and a DC fridge at like a park to keep things cold. I think that that's fantastic. That's lovely for someone like me who has like small kids and we can be out for a long time. You know what I mean? To be able to just go to the car and have something be refrigerated. Setai have a good suggestion to crack the windows. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's going to be fun. think that's gonna be fun. That's what I thought. I thought you had two arrays, and you got the. That's why I was like, you must have more than just those panels. I got you. I understand 100% now. And I'm running into the same situation. But realistically, this is what I was talking about in the Oupes video when it comes out. Realistically, those panels with those like 10 amps, 40 volts, 41 volts by 10 point something amps to get the 450 or whatever it is, you're typically not going to get that kind of amperage, at least in my area. I'll get about 7 amps, 8 amps. And then if you have a 15 amp limit on your MPPT, it's actually fine to go in a 2S2P configuration, which is to put. Hold on. Is that my wife? Okay. Where you park at?
You still mine?
Yeah. Where you park at?
Behind the van.
Why?
Because I plan on leaving again, but I don't know.
What'd you do? Put something on TV for the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Don't be trying to be going to sleep at 7:30 talking about you tired.
Oh my gosh. So when I say 2S2P, it's 2 in series and then 2 in series, and then you put those in parallel with parallel cables. So series combines the voltage on these two. So you would have 40 and 40, that's 80. So 80 volts here, 80 volts here. And then you would come down, let's say 80 volts, 10 amps. And then you would come down here and go parallel. So the parallel would combine the amp. So you'd have an 80 volt, 20 amp joint. But realistically, unless you live in like Arizona or something like that, you're probably not going to get about 8 amps from those panels on a banging day. And then if you're getting 8 amps and your joints is 15 amp limited, then it's 8 plus 8 is 15, which is fine. It's 1 amp times the voltage is the amount of power that you would be losing if you were bumping up against that anyway, which you probably won't. So it's only 80 watts from the array that you would be losing because you have a 15 amp limit. All right, let's get these last comments. Yeah, just get wheels to drag it when you need it. That's fair. They should have wheels, so anywhere but sand should be fine. Yeah, the one place I think about needing a DC fridge is when we go to the beach. But those other scenarios are actually fantastic. Any other scenario where we go anywhere for a long amount of time, it would be fantastic to have a DC fridge with cold drinks and food. That's pretty dope. I'm excited. Are you kidding me? I love your detailed unboxing videos. Thanks, Grant Acres. I appreciate that. I was talking with Wayne. I was like, unboxing videos are so useless to me. But I actually like the way that I did the video. I must have watched the video like 4 or 5 times because I just enjoyed watching me talk about it. And plus, I keep my videos moving. I'm not like cutting the box open and you know what I mean? Like peeling why I gotta watch you peel 4 flaps? I understand how box flaps work. Like, what are we doing here? Get the thing out of the box, man. Like, I did some of that, but I was talking through it also. I also feel like I have a decent enough personality to carry an unboxing. So that's one thing that I have to always be mindful of, is just because a lot of people don't do it well doesn't mean you can't do it well. And I think that's the case. But, that's me just flattering myself. Thug life. Enor PA, portable air conditioner with dehumidifier. AC will work with your power station. You talking to me or somebody else? That's interesting. I think Wayne was telling me that Enor doesn't sell stuff in the AC in the US anymore. My goal is to have a bunch of those 2S2Ps to max out the 2 MPPTs because I don't want to keep moving panels. I just want to have 4 wires coming into the house. God bless you. I understand that. I watch unboxing videos. God bless y'all. I ain't watching no unboxing video. especially not how people do it. Setai was talking about doing it during a live stream, which I think is a similar benefit because you get to be more casual and talk through it and so on and so forth. I don't think that that's as beneficial in the video, but what do I know? It lets people experience the purchase without spending the money, I guess. Some people will just snap their fingers in unboxing videos and fast forward anything. That's a good approach. I can tolerate that. I have three of them, two large ones and one small one. You will love your DC fridge. I was just talking to a friend of mine, the guy who I gave the Blue Eddy EB120 to. Um, I was telling him about the DC fridges, and he wasn't hip at all. He was like, "Oh snap, I got to get one of these," because he was saying he wanted to run his fridge, but he was also talking about how he more so like doesn't have a lot of food in his fridge. And I was like, "Man, you may want to think about a DC fridge because if you only got a few items, if stuff hits the fan and you gotta like pack down into a more compact situation to be able to power stuff, and you throw that stuff in the DC fridge and you fine. You can just let your fridge chill." It also works for retailers who don't list the package contents. That's a fact. And change them after a while, like Blue A changed what came with the EV3A. That's a great point. Very great points. I'll let her know you say hi. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. It's been good hanging out with y'all. I'm gonna bounce. I want to get back to doing these once a week. I'll try to give lead time, but I want to be able to do them on a specific day. Thursdays don't work for me because I have my men's meeting. Um, my son is starting soccer for a little bit, so Fridays won't work. Maybe Saturdays is a good look because my Saturdays are typically free. But I'm gonna figure something out, even if it's just a half hour to touch base with y'all about what's going on. We're gonna do it. We're gonna start having it because I love like me and Lead Farmer. Don't I don't watch his videos anymore. Some of you guys who know what's going on, you know why. Um, but I enjoy, even though those videos weren't necessarily useful to me in my particular solar journey, I enjoyed being able to hang out and somebody talked about solar. I think that was fantastic. So I imagine that folks missed that because I know I missed it when I didn't have it, and he was one of the only people that was doing it in an enjoyable way. I don't think most people do it anyway. I know Alaska Prepper does live streams, but he ain't my cup of tea. So um, yeah, I need to get back to it. You said they stopped selling the AC. No, I know Wayne was telling me that um, they stopped selling products. Maybe it was just power stations in the US. Something happened where they don't sell them in the US anymore. And third hand information, second hand information, but that's what was told to me. And he said he had it on good authority. I think he had a contact or something. Let's see. Thanks, 2%. Don't try to go to sleep. Man, this daylight savings stuff messes up. This is the last thing. It messes up. I think it messes up my circadian rhythm, and I be tired like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm like, and my wife gives me a hard time about it. That's a conversation we definitely need to have and figure out. Um, but that's a whole other marriage thing. When we do the marriage podcast, it's definitely gonna come up. We've been trying to do that for a while. We were actually just on somebody's show talking about marriage through a mutual contact. She doesn't have a big following or anything, but we enjoy talking about it. We love talking about marriage. But she's I think she's out of pocket for giving me a hard time about that. Uh, it just I don't know. It messes with me. I be tired, man. And I don't think it has anything to do with age. Even like years ago, I feel like it would impact me similarly. When it starts getting dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock, come 8 o'clock, I'm like, man, I'm sleepy. Let me see what y'all think. I'm still messed up. Thank you for sharing that. Sharing what? Oh, okay, with Enor. My two large fridges can use half and half or as one freezer and just one refrigerator. I love those choices. Yeah, that's always good. I'm on your side this time. I'll be in bed early. And then I don't need a whole lot of sleep. So if I go to I'll like clock out, and sometimes I'm like out, and then I'll wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning and just be up. But it's like it bumps right into me doing a nighttime routine, and I think that's why she be salty, because then she has to take over the nighttime routine for the kids. I take care of that, and so we get into it over the amount of stuff that I don't do in the house, which she has a valid point. So that one particular thing for her to have to shift and do that, it pinches a nerve. But I'm trying to do more around the house. But anyway, just letting y'all into the life a little bit. Oh man, do you use your house fridge? I plan to give my fridge a break in the summer. They talk about how you should defrost those. All right, we're gonna talk about it next time. Hopefully, there's an unboxing in some capacity about the set point AJ 50 something or another that I have. Y'all be beautiful. I'm gonna end the joint.